Hi guys, Borgio here. It's been a while, and it's been a while for this game in particular. Something huge, Vanguard. I felt like running some Vanguard videos back, so here we are. I'm using my streaming setup just because it's easier. If I actually click in the game, you'll actually have the proper FPS as well. But yeah, Vanguard. I mean, the first video I ever uploaded to this channel was of Vanguard. It's a game that I absolutely loved back in the day before it was closed down. But there is an emulation project that's been ongoing for many years, and I felt like checking it out again, playing some Vanguard, because why not? So we're going to make a new character. We're going to do the Isle, just because the Isle is fairly well known to me, although I would love to start just out in the world. First things first, we've got to decide is, on this wonderful project, they've unlocked all of the races with all of the classes, so not going to go with an offensive fighter. I have some classes I've messed around with already. We're actually going to make a ranger. Ranger seems fun. And what kind of ranger are we going to be? Like elf ranger, obviously, is most appropriate, I suppose. But I think it could be funny to be a gnome ranger. That sounds hilarious to me. I don't know why. So yeah, let's why not? Why not? It's just for fun. Let's make a ranger. So Vanguard, very old. But still runs really well on modern computers. There's still occasional hitches, but we'll go through those when we get to them. But we need to name this gnome first. So can we put numbers in? What would you 22 the gnome? You can. Interesting. So I'm going to go with Islador. No, I can't. There we go. So we're just going to call him Borgio with an E, just because I've already got Borgio with an I. We're not going to mess around too much, but the sliders are all still there. In fact, we're gonna random a couple of times. Oh, it just randoms that one tab. Great. Let's just random the head. Oh yeah, look at that guy. He's me, 100%. So here we are, starting on the rate. As you can see, I've got a few characters I've been messing around with already. Let's give it a go, same as ever. So we're gonna move. I'm gonna move my face because I'm gonna be in the way down here, and I'm gonna move myself up there, a bit like that. So here we are in Vanguard now. I loved Vanguard back in the day. It was like probably it was the first video I uploaded to the channel. There we go, everything loading. And yeah, it always held a special place because it always felt a lot like the sort of extension of EverQuest. But here we are in 2023 playing Vanguard. So, first things first, you can actually, if you run into some bugs or you want to rerun certain things, because this is an emulation and it's not released, this is, I think it still might even be alpha, it might be beta. You can reset your quests on the Isle. Now, I found that characters I'd made a long time ago had need to do that, even though they're level 6, because they've lost a load of gear, which is fun. So we're going to rattle through these quests. So we're not really going to have really the objectives too hard, because I do know what I'm doing. So the first one is it's to get used to the game. You can't see my quest logs if I just shove that down there. Let's go. So tutorial tips, we don't need to worry about them. So I am on the ranger. Let's just have a quick look what abilities we've got. We have stealth, that's fine. We have a buff, okay. So I probably definitely want to put that on. There we go. So I've got an hour buff, we've got sprint, we've got yeah, the gnome racial, and we've got blade of witness. I don't even have a bow attack. Like, we have ranged attack though, right? Yeah, so we'll stick ranged attack on 0. I'll put my food, just got to do the basic set of food on equals. There we go. Right, let's do it. So, Vanguard. My first complaint about Vanguard, and it was always the same back in the day, is the font. I absolutely hate this font on a modern-looking game. This font is very similar to, say, the EverQuest 1 font. I keep looking over here. This is where my preview window is, but you guys are there. It's very similar to the EverQuest 1 font. Just give me 2 seconds. Just going to actually turn the volume down slightly. It is super, super loud. Yeah. Oh, 30%. There we go. That's better. Right. Yeah, it's very similar to the Vanguard font. Right, so this quest, if ever you get here, you have to listen to what she says. So you actually have to click through. And she's basically just letting you know what's going on with the Isle. So we will just blat through that. Right, she just tells us to go to the next guy. So Vanguard was kind of ahead of its time, really, when it came out. It was very ambitious. Extremely ambitious, and unfortunately did fall slightly flat due to, and I couldn't tell you what it was due to. I'd have to do some research, but part of me thinks it was either publisher pressure or what. But it's still a fantastic game, and it's one of those games that's hard. It doesn't hold your hand, right? So I fully expect to die a few times on this. We'll find out. So he's gonna give us the first initial quest. Now here's the thing: turn around, because this quest has opened up as well, and you're going to end up doing this all together anyway. So let's go and do some combat. First time I've done some combat in Vanguard on video for a long time. Stuff does glow that you need to collect, so it makes it easier. There's a take all button, which is nice. So, right, you'll be noticing dots above things. Dots are like the con system in the game. As well as colour, you have dots, and dots indicates how hard. So if I just target a podling, you'll see it's level 1. So its colour is this weird browny, greeny, grey colour. And it's got 2 dots, and 2 dots generally means it's okay for me as a soloer. Okay, 2 dots is okay as a solo. I don't know if there's any 3 dots around here, but the more dots, the more players you're probably going to need to take them. 3 dots are quite hard. There are some 3 dots on the island. 4 dots and 5 dots are yeah, probably a little bit beyond this little character. We're just going to grab some seeds. Right, we're gonna take some podlings on. So you can just run up and attack things. Obviously, you can right click, and you can see I've pulled my swords out. I can detarget, pull my bow out. So we're going to start with we'll start with a ranged attack. We're a ranger, although ranger just means, you know. And here we go. So here's combat. Now it's weird. I've just learned freeze. Apparently, that's a thing. Okay, so Blade of Winter led me to learn freeze. I don't think that's actually a... Yeah, it's like not a... Oh, in fact, it's there. Oh my lord, this is... Okay, I haven't played Ranger in a while, so it seems like chaining attacks together gives you new skills. So I've just learned freeze. So freeze. Now, is that a castable? I don't think it's a castable, or is it? Okay, so let's try doing a freeze. So Blade of Winter. Blade of Winter. He is just frozen. Yeah, it's not. It's just an effect that happens. Okay. So the big thing about the combat in Vanguard is it's weird. It's almost real time, almost, but it also kind of feels like an on next hit system. Let me explain. So I go in, I target the podling, and I press 1 to do my attack. Now you notice it has a global cooldown, right? And he swings. It's up, so I press it again. So it's kind of is reactive, but it's just the numbers are a bit delayed in coming up, but I believe the damage goes out when you hit the button, rather than when the numbers come up. Yellow numbers are abilities, and white numbers are auto attacks. So let's just try again. So if I press 1, watch his health. I'm pointing at the screen. Watch his health down here. So as soon as I press it, is when it lands before the numbers come out. So it feels a bit weird because the numbers are slightly delayed compared to... Oh, it's a new shot though. Compared to when you actually hit the button. But, you know, it's something you just get used to. Anyway, right, we're nearly done. Ranger should be fun though. Unfortunately, this game, when it launched, it was supposed to have another protective fighter class in the Berserker. Which never got finished, never got put in. And Berserkers are the kind of class that I prefer to play. I didn't find the tools, did I? Idiot. I always like the in-your-face bruiser melee fighter. And unfortunately, the offensive fighters don't really have that archetype for me. Ranger's probably the best I'm going to do. I tried Monk, but I'm not a fan of like using polearms and fists. So Ranger's probably the only one that's going to fit that. You can play Warrior sort of that way. That the protective fighters do have some sort of like offensive abilities. And ways to increase their damage, and Warrior's pretty fun. But we'll give Ranger a bash. We'll give Ranger a bash. It's here we go. So we've done all these quests. Let's turn them in. You're going to get given a load of like green armor, and there's a ding. So that's level 2. So he's going to send me to my trainer, which is great. So we'll grab that. You also see there quest for diplomacy and crafting. Diplomacy and crafting, they're their own complete subsystem in Vanguard. Diplomacy is something you probably you've never heard of. We'll go through those in a separate video. I'm not going to do them now. So we're just going to keep going. My aim is probably to stream some of this. So as a ranger, right, let's look at the stats. So It's one of those games where tons and tons of stats, right? So we're going to look at strength, which is melee damage. Dex is, what, like melee crit, range damage, chance to dodge, chance back. Dex seems good. We're going to take Dex, because we're going to see if, in the end, we can actually use some... Did that auto-equip? No, what's this here? Dragonbone Helmet. I mean, does it look cool? Oh, fuck it, we're using it. I know it's less armor, we're going to use that. But anyway, does Ranger turn into... Does it have ranged attacks? We'll find out now, because we're going to go see the trainer, and we'll be able to see everything we can and can't buy. I don't have a lot of cash right now, and it's night time, of course, which is nice. So here's Go Train. It looks like we get 2 swords, and then we can choose a crossbow or a scout bow. Well, we'll take the scout bow. Right, and she just wants us to go back, but we will have a look. Let's have a look at the skills. So, Heat of Summer is a buff. Blade of Summer does additional damage while flanking, so that's nice. Recall is just recall. Deadly Shot. So yeah, there we go. You do get some ranged abilities. So we're going to buy Heat of Summer and Blade of Summer. Can I afford recall? Yeah. So this is a buff. Oh, it only lasts 30 seconds. Okay, so it's like a power buff, but it's spammable. Self. Interesting. So this adds Burn and Bleed. This is Chilled and Lethargic. So, I mean, it is just better damage-wise on paper. Oh, a little bit of lag. Now, I mentioned earlier that the game still has hitches, and it did this to me back in the day, and it's going to still do it now, and I'll show you. When I open doors, it's hilarious. So let's go and just pop open a door. We're going to clear these tutorials. Oh, what do I actually... Do not show me any more hints. There we go. Just click it again just to be sure. Right. Let's see if it hitches. Oh, it's not too... Yep, there we go. There, look at that. As it loads the interior. Oh. There we go. It's always been like that in Vanguard, though. But Vanguard is very, very... Again, it was super ambitious. So if I show you the map, this whole area is explorable. You can go to any of these places, but it's not just this. Any of these squares was called chunk, and going across the line caused the game to load the next chunk. So that was seamless. There was minimal loading screens, should we say. But there is literally 3 full continents to explore. That one's a bit more islandy. And there's the sort of the teleport system where you can see how much it costs to port to different areas. Can't port back to the Isle of Dawn once you're done, but there's reasons for doing the Isle of Dawn over the other starting areas. But yeah, just very, very interesting. Oh, something I haven't talked about. How you track where quests are and where you're going. So I have a quest here to return to Veteran Six Fish. There's a location section on these quests, and whatever's ticked is what you're tracking. I'm going to use tracking. On your compass at the top of the screen, there's a red area. That red area indicates the direction of what you are tracking. So I'm tracking Veteran Six Fish. He's this way. As you get closer, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until you should be able to see what you're doing. So we'll demonstrate that again on the next quest, hopefully. So he wants us to kill... right, we've got some repellent to use on the Jataros, so we'll use those. We've got to kill marsh dwellers. So let's see what's available to track. There you go. Where the mobs are. So again, it's the same way, but this quest involves using an item. So we'll take the repellent. We'll stick it on 5. And all we do, we'll run off to the area. There was no other quests because I've already taken them. And we're looking for the mature Jataros, which are just a little bit further out, and the marsh dwellers. Now the marsh dwellers, when I was doing a test run of this, actually killed me once because I didn't check the con level of the mob, and it was a level higher. So this is level 3, level 2. It's you know, we'll give it a go. Let's use this new Blade of Summer. Now I can flank to start with to get that extra damage. We'll do... Oh, it's got a long cooldown. So a 2 and a 1 does nothing. Maybe a 1 and a 2 does something. So, as you can see, he is dying now. I think the buff helps. Having the buff helps. Yeah, there we go. So, I didn't realise the cooldown. Does it set... Because it... Oh, refresh 10. I see. I was trying to find it. Let's give it a go with doing a 1 then a 2. Freezing, then heating something up. So, freeze. Heating it up adds the burn. There we go. And then doing another freeze adds the freeze. So it doesn't even have to be immediately after. It just detects that you've done 2 Blade of Winters. Interesting. A lot of classes are like this. Bard is the most in-depth bard I've ever seen in a game. I'm probably thinking of doing some little class, not guides, but some class previews on the different classes. It should be a laugh, but here we go. You may wonder how many people are currently playing. That's a good question. Let's have a look at the social. Now, bear in mind, right now, it is 10 AM in the UK, so not many people are around. Now, there's 13 people on. Obviously, that's not a lot, but it's enough to be testing things, because again, this is alpha and beta right now, so it's about testing stuff out. If you can get a couple of friends, like if you can get a group of 3, cover archetypes, so tank healer plus, I feel like their archetype triangle back in this day was the same as EQ1, which was tank healer crowd control. If you have all those 3, you can do anything. So there's another level, that's good. How do you want to need 2? So that's my feeling. If you have those covered, you could probably do well. So a small little friend group could easily play Vanguard. I'm not sure how well a duel will go. I need to get Honey involved, actually, at some point. Okay, we've got a cookie. Cookies are interesting. We will check those out later. But the cookie lets you summon a boss in the swamp. Okay, just the one to go, one Marsh Dweller, and then we're done on this quest. Now, it'd be nice when it becomes daytime, because the game, you know, it's got some of that old school jank charm, in my opinion. You can see that, like, I think I've got everything on the highest, right? Let me just double check. I'm running at 1080p. Yeah, everything's on high, everything's maxed out. I have the clipping. Oh, I used to have the clipping plane turned all the way up on my other characters. Grass density, I mean, we can turn grass up. Look, you can turn it down if you don't like grass, but, you know, just put the grass on. And it still looks pretty good. You know, there's a lot of games these days that are trying to capitalise and make this sort of game again, and we're going to cover some more of those on the channel. But I don't know. Sometimes they didn't quite get it spot on yet. But yeah, old school game still looks pretty good. It's a little bit jank with some animations, but that's part of the charm, to be honest. And this game is still very chill. You can play this solo. You can. Oh, there's actually a load of people down there. There we go. Possibly... Oh, we've got some more armor. Nice. Let's have a look. So, there's the risk. Oh, I hadn't actually equipped any of my new stuff, did I? Well, I'm real smart. Stick that on, and my... Okay. So, I want my short sword there. So, there's the cookie. There you go. If you give this to Tenby, you can summon Glitterata Cookie. Wow, there's like a bunch of people in a guild. Look. So there you go. So people are around. Like I say, a little 3-person friend group, easily placed. You've got level 20 warriors, that's a tank. You've got a druid there. Druid's a healer. And a blood mage. Blood mage is a healer as well. Oh wait, no, druid. Druid is not a healer. Druid is a caster. So there you go. Tank healer. Crowd control. I imagine druids have roots. And there we go. Anyway, we're going the wrong way. We need to go in the swamp. But yeah, this Vanguard, man. Vanguard. I think when we get to the hermit here, we will finish up part 1. And then we will move on from there. But this is Vanguard. This is Vanguard. All at night time, look. So hopefully it'll be daytime in part 2. But still holds a special place. We haven't spoken about mobcons either, thinking about it. But yellows are non-aggro and stuff. Reds are aggro. I can't remember. I think it's just proximity aggro. I don't think it's like Final Fantasy 14 style aggro if you get in line of sight or if they hear you. It's just sort of proximity. And sometimes mobs will bring a friend. Sometimes they won't. You can range pull mobs. It's yeah. When we get there's a section later on where we go to a cave, a hobgoblin cave. When we get to that point, it will require the use of the bow to pull some mobs out. But we still may get adds, and that is the place where I tend to take a death, but here we are. This is a cool monument, but we're actually looking for the hermit, and the hermit lives on the other side. So the other thing you can do on your mini map, if I go to the Isle, or on your map, if I go to the Isle of Dawn, just scroll to where I am, you'll see blobs, and the blobs actually do indicate places you need to go, and you can see it on the mini map at the bottom. It's quite hard to see, but you know, you can either follow the red or follow the blobs on the map. But this game is fantastic. Again, if you have a little friend group that want to try stuff, why not right now? You know, there is, I believe there is a dungeon, a small man dungeon in the game that you can do on the Isle of whatever. What is this place called? Isle of Dawn. Isle of Dawn. There we go. There is some small dungeons you can do. There's little named mobs and stuff, but who knows? It's perfectly possible to solo them too. Anyway, this is Vanguard. This is going to be part 1 of the Isle of Dawn series, and we'll see how far I get with it. Anyway, I'm Borgio. I'll see you guys next time.